We are back for another season of Gwent. It's October 2025, and a lot of you guys are coming into the comments lately asking, how is the game? Is it worth returning to? And let me tell you, there's still thousands and thousands of players across Steam, GOG, and mobile. Specifically, mobile and GOG are the most of the player base, but you know, if you're in pro rank, I think there's at least 10,000 players in pro rank at any given season, probably around 50,000 players playing the game, so very much alive. I'm making videos, the numbers are looking good, I've had high earning months, no complaints there, so I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And this is my second month actively trying to make an influence on the Balance Council. I teamed up with the Ofir Council last month for the first time and we went 12 for 12. Every single one of our picks went through. Now to summarize this season, 8 out of 12 of our picks went through. I was a little bit less active on this part of the process during the season. I think we had some really good picks, but so did Shin and Lirio. 8 of 12 of their picks went through as well, so collective, I'm pretty happy with the way that that's going, and it doesn't look like at a first glance there's a lot of stuff that's going to be a problem. So let's talk about it, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of what I think of some things, and then I'll tell you which ones specifically that we voted for, and let this open up a conversation as well in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of this overall. Let me guys know what you think of our picks. Let me know what you guys want to see us put in our poll for next season, and so forth. So, I'm still a little bit sick, so if I sound winded, it's because I'm trying to talk, but I'm trying to breathe at the same time because my nose doesn't work. So, anyways, power increase. We got Siri Dash and Siri. Collectively, these are really cool. I think the regular Siri is going to be used in a variety of Golden Necker decks, which is interesting. The card didn't really see much play because you have to draw it earlier enough in the game to make it count. If it gets locked, it's not very good, and if it gets killed, it's not very good. So with that being said, coming down at 6 is interesting for me, and Siri Dash, it's a direct buff to Kelly, as well as I've done a shield wall Siri Dash deck before and it was pretty cool, so you know, that's probably where you're going to see them both played. I don't think she's overtuned at that. There's a lot of ways to get 6 damage still in the game of Gwent these days, so you know, it's going to be interesting to see how they go. The power buff's not the end of the world. Affin's one of those things where it's like it thins out of the deck. It does have an order. It doesn't often get played to get enough of that order value. Seeing it for Imperial Formation is pretty cool. Right now, people just run Battle Stations ×2 and they don't use a card like this, so to have more incentive to actually run it is pretty interesting. I think that's an overall positive change. It wasn't my first pick, but it's cool. Madman Lugos is one of the ones that we picked, so having a lower floor, a little bit higher ceiling, feels kind of good. I know Warriors got a lot of nerfs. We anticipated that there were going to be a lot of nerfs, so we wanted to give them a creative way to kind of fix things while playing into the Warrior archetype. So, you know, healthy change I think with Lugos. It's not like he has veteran, so it's not really a huge threat. And another card that doesn't see a lot of play. I know Shin did a deck with this recently. I don't really see it much on ladder. Vess feels like she should be more impactful in the game, but underplayed severely, so going up 1 base power is pretty good. Giving Zeal will be good for like shield wall decks and stuff like that. A lot of different siege decks have orders, so I think she'll get some play given 7/7, cooldown of 3, the 2 damage, so her floor is 9, and then she has the order. I think that puts her like immediately into playable category, honestly, so without being overtuned. Roderick DeWitt, great card. This is one of the ones that we voted for. Great card at 5/6. Wasn't very good card at 4/6. It does have armor, so you need 6 to remove it. It's 1 coin per turn. Coin generation's tough for Firesworn, so I'm hoping that this is going to make an impact on that, right? You don't want to just play this and click it. It's kind of underwhelming, so to be able to let it float for a little bit, click it later on in the round is kind of good. Then we have the Nausicaa Revert. Not a lot to say, just keep it at 4/6 at this point. I don't think it's the end of the world. It is 6 provisions. There are a lot of other cards now at 6 that play for 10, so I don't feel too bad about it. Assimilate looking ahead, got some nerfs, so at least let them have this one here to get a couple points back, so I'm fine with it. We're looking at Firesworn Scribe. Again, another direct buff to this. I think that's really cool. Not one of the ones that we picked, but definitely one of the ones that I would consider. You know, it makes a difference here. Just being able to have that engine on the board. This with Helvide's pretty crazy, so you know, that's really cool. Pirates, they did get a lot of nerfs. They're now not really that good, and I haven't played against Pirates more than maybe 2 times out of 150 games this season that just passed. So having Corsair go up to 3, it's not really a big deal, man. I think that's just fine. He was there to begin with, so put him back to where he was. It's not really an interesting pick, but it's one that at least we're just fixing something now, putting it back to normal. The Terra Crew Axe Wielder, this card wasn't very good before, but I think now it's worth kind of looking at for maybe Self Wound or for Pirate Clash if you have like a crack on the board. So we got 6 on deploy, and then if we can manage to take that off, we get a bit of extra damage. So, you know, it could be played in Self Wound, it could be played in Pirates, either way, worth looking at. Has an 8-point ceiling, so, but it is conditional, right? So you have to kind of work for it. So I like that. Quacks going down in power to 1. I don't really care about this. It's only good in V. It's only really a Renfrey tech or a Fukusia tech. You're not really seeing a lot of it. No one's really playing Kelly to begin with. So it's, to me, feels like a placeholder. Definitely a placeholder with living armor. I think now that we're down to 1, we gotta look for something else to do. We've already moved on to Iris. So another placeholder nerf. Again, not very exciting. Riptide Ping Pong. 9-9 is, again, not that interesting here either. So keep it 10-10 or keep it 9-9. Just stop playing with it. Sandor is one of the ones that we voted for. Extremely strong card with a very high point ceiling. Plays well into Abduction. Plays well in just Colgrim to begin with. I don't even use Abduction when I play this in Colgrim, and I think he's amazing. So with that being said, 4 is actually 5 on deploy, 6 on the order, and then it goes up from there. So I think that that's really good to have. Still in Golden Necker range, still gives it a lot of creative play, but it's not overtuned by any means. Corrupted Flaminica. I don't think she had to go down to 1. I think 2 is just fine to keep her there. I played a Beast deck a couple days ago. The whole deck is built around it. She's the final payoff, and playing her again with Fukusia is kind of the ideal thing. So if you can maintain last, say you've got Heatwave or you've got something for it, or Graveyard Banish for it, or a reset of any sort for it, you know, having it 1/8 is kind of harsh. Albric, probably one of the most played decks of the last season. I agree with this one here. Putting it down to 3 is fine. But it does kind of take a nip at the hyper thin reveal deck that was going around, so it'll still be playable, it'll still be fine. It's just not going to be quite as good. You're losing a point on every payoff at the end, so you're losing like essentially, you know, 3 points potentially by doing a 1-point nerf here. Shady Vendor, again, still a very good card. 4/6 is probably the place we should keep it. Has the ability to create and play. You have utility to be able to choose whether it be a poison, seizing something, profit carryover, you name it. So having it 4/6, it's also tributes for King of Beggars. I think it's going to be more than fine just staying as it is there. Master of Puppets, to me, this kind of kills the card. What it does, though, is it increases the point ceiling of having this as a late game play, but it makes it that much easier to remove. So if you're not bringing it out with Zeal somehow by playing, let's say, like the artifact to give Zeal, then I don't know how you're going to pull this off. Unless you have a defender. So it's tough. Messenger of the Sea, if you have 2 turns or 2 instances of rain on a row, like 2 units, you're going to be getting her down at 5 points on the first turn, which puts her in very common removal range. Before she was 6. That's a significant nerf. That, alongside with Corrupted Flaminica, basically really takes a jab at the Beast/Rain Beast hybrid archetype for Skellige. So I don't think we're going to see as much play of that going forward for a little bit. And there's even more nerfs coming to it on this side of the board. So again, all in all, we had 1, 2 of our changes come through in the first half, which is fine. We're probably going to see more on this half, if I'm reading this correctly. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we've had 3 there. So that's pretty much, oh, and Shady Vendor, 4. Got you. Okay, going to this half here. 2 Centaur Hospitality, getting a provision buff to 1 more is fine. I don't see anybody really playing this archetype. It has a high potential, but it has a very low play rate, and it just needs to be a bit better. So I'm okay with that. Tainted Ale is another placeholder, which is not very good. Tora is another ping pong, which is not very interesting. Assimilate players are going to hate this. Nilfgaard is getting a lot of nerfs, right? But they did get at least one thing here so far that makes a difference that can be played in pretty much any Nilfgaard deck. So there's that. Siege gets a nerf. Siege has been played so much that I think we just could nerf it to 14. It's still going to be good. That's not that big of a deal, honestly, for Northern Realms players. I'm still probably going to play Siege. Ivar gets a provision increase because he got too strong with the power flip that we got, right? Going down to 2 power at 10 was ridiculous. You could play that in any mid-range deck. We fixed it. Sticky situation, 2 points per turn on either side, 4 points per turn. Engine for 8 provisions was kind of steep. So putting it to 9 keeps it in Golden Necker range, keeps the card playable, which is fine. Seagull is one of our picks. 2/7's probably where it's going to stay. I think that's the best way to keep it this way. It's still playable, still plays for a ton of carryover points that you can use if you need to get out of round early. So it has like super utility on that card. So again, I think 2/7's the sweet spot. Open Sesame gets nerfed back to 6. I think it's going to be okay. I don't know if we needed the double nerf here. Honestly, this will probably get reverted at some points. The Highland Warlord, I think it should just stay at 3/6 because it starts at 4 in turn 1 anyways. 6 in round 3 with these because King Bran. So having this at 6 is more than fine for me. It plays for a ton of value because you have a deck full of raid cards. And my understanding is that Heime Protector is supposed to be part of a 2-part buff. So with that being said, this card is underplayed, but hopefully with whatever they're doing to it, it's going to get better. I think they're probably going to go in the route of provision increase plus power increase. It doesn't do a whole lot for me, but it'll keep it on the board, I guess. And lastly, we got the provision decrease. Temple goes back to 16, which is reasonable because Temple Siege, a lot of people do the 2 together, and then now it kind of just it balances itself out. We have Golden Ecker going back to 13. I think that's completely reasonable. It at 13 is fine. It at 14 is very expensive. Ball getting a buff to 13, I don't think it needs it because Ball is like good removal on demand, but I'll take it. At least these are deploy, these are engines, so you could argue that this is like a one-off, so it should cost less, which is fine. Blood Eagle, this is one of the ones that we voted for. The idea is to basically keep this here, and try to buff Blood Eagle so that we can make up for the provisions there, so warriors don't lose a lot of direct points, but these cards can't be abused in other Skellige decks. So that's the idea. Another one that we put through here was Viraxis, because we want to be able to kind of encourage the triple duel stuff again that was popular maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was a lot of fun. I think it can come back in the meta with something like this. You're often playing him in second form, so to be able to just get that reset without getting the 1 point per card played essentially is going to help us. And I didn't go for the Unseen Elder, but 7/11 is pretty crazy. It encourages playing Devotion decks, but I think this card will be seen in non-Devotion decks as well, because 7/11 is definitely something that we can afford to do. This card's been touched a couple times since Balance Council, and I think it's finally in a place where it's going to be playable, which is really exciting. We have Calvite goes back to 7/11. I'm pretty much over this. You know, we did get nerfed here, we did get buffed here, so Assimilate didn't get ruined. It actually got 2 buffs, 1 nerf so far. So I think, you know, for all you Nilfgaard players, like, you just take the dub at this point, just take it. Lilith's Omen, another thinning method for monsters. I've seen this for Kikimor and Kashi before. I've seen this for double necrophages like the Rot Fiends, but I haven't really seen it for anything else. I think it's kind of interesting. So, you know, there's a tutor that basically gives something Rupture, triggers a Death Wish. If it has armor, it's all the better. But, you know, let's see if we could do something this month with this card. Gezrez is terrifying. It's almost in Golden Necker range now, which is pretty crazy. I don't know if it's going to become meta, but 6/10 is very good because I think before at one point he used to be a 5/12. Okay? I'm pretty sure he was a 5/12 and then went up to a 6/12. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. I'm definitely going to be playing movement because I think the point steal on this card is ridiculous if left unchecked. It is Adrenaline 3, but you are getting a lot of value between then and then, especially if Firesworn gets a buff. You might see Firesworn versus movement. We're going to be able to wipe a row and boost a row every single turn, which is just ridiculous. So we have that there. Pirates get another buff. This puts Morkvarg in Golden Necker range, which is really interesting. So now we have another Tall Punish option available in Golden Necker range. We free up a bit more provisions here as well. So Golden Necker Pirates might actually be back on the menu, given a couple buffs that we've seen here, plus things like this. So something to consider. Overall, I would say at least 50% of these picks are boring, but the ones that did change for the better are good changes. And a lot of things have been fixed or reverted back to a place that's healthy for the game. So I'm going to say it was a successful patch overall. I know some of you guys are probably disappointed, but at least there's like a handful of new things to try. And the decks that I'm going to be putting out this month are going to have variety since what I've put out over the last couple months. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to hopefully get a deck guide out over the next couple days, but next week we are grinding. I'm going to be doing uploads pretty much every single day. So we'll see you then. Take it easy.